Hello friends, this video on Winds Storms and Cyclones part 5 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So we will again look at a beautiful experiment, and here we will make use of a strip of paper. So here what we do is, instead of the bottle, now we take a strip of paper, as you can see here, a thin rectangular tiny strip of paper. So, and you hold it near your mouth, but we are not doing anything but just holding it near our mouth. So just look at the way the strip of paper is. So it will be like kind of hanging, because it is not a very thick sheet of paper. It is just a normal thin strip of paper. So it tends to be like this. It doesn't remain straight and all. Now you just try to blow it. Now when you try to blow hard, in this case, what happens? Now before the strip was hanging like this, but now it tends to move in the upward direction. You see, somewhat it has moved in the upward direction. Earlier it was like this, now it is like this. So this happened because we are blowing it from here. Again, that is also surprising. Now we are not applying any pressure in this direction. We are basically blowing it hard in this direction, which should actually make it go all the more down. But instead of that, it is moving, it is coming up. So why is that? Again here, when we blow hard, what happens? The wind speed in this region increases. So let's call this region as region 1 and this region as region 2. So the region above the strip of paper is region 1 and the region below the strip of paper is region 2. Now when we blow hard, we are actually blowing in region 1. So what happens in region 1? So here the wind speed increases. Now when wind speed increases, it is accompanied by low air pressure. So therefore the air pressure decreases. So now we have less air pressure in region 2 and we have more air pressure in region 2. So basically in region 1 we have low air pressure and in region 2 we have high air pressure. And again the same logic, air moves from region of higher pressure towards lower pressure. So basically air would move in this direction, and this wind will pressurize the paper also to move in the same direction, and that is why the strip of paper tends to come up when we blow hard above it. So these are all experiments, and all of these are so handy that you can actually perform them yourself and you can enjoy the beauty of science. Now sometimes this concept of air pressure can be extremely dangerous. So you might be wondering that, okay, we learned about wind. So wind is actually a nice thing. When we go out and if there's a cool breeze blowing, we feel good. The trees move, we get to see a nice scenery. So there is nothing wrong with it. But sometimes this air pressure can turn out to be very dangerous. So here we will see that how the concept of air pressure can be so dangerous that it can even cause huge destruction. Because sometimes it sounds very surprising that how can winds cause so much of loss to the property? How can it cause the destruction of houses and roads and buildings? How can it cause that? So we will see that how the simple concept of air pressure can actually make the roof of a house fly away with the wind. So what happens during strong winds? What do we mean by strong winds? Now when we say strong winds, we basically mean winds which are blowing with a very, very high speed. Now when we say that winds with very high speed are blowing above the roofs, that means the speed of the wind is more, therefore the air pressure is going to be very less above the roof. So let's say this is a house. So just an example, right? So above the roof of the house, since the wind is moving at a very high speed, therefore the air pressure here is going to be less. But the air pressure inside the house is going to be more. So here the air pressure is more. So what happens? Here the air pressure is more and here the air pressure is less. And we know that air tends to flow from region of higher pressure towards lower pressure. So basically wind will end up blowing from bottom to top, and this would exert an upward force on the roof of the house, which results in the destruction of the house. So a lot of times the roof itself gets carried away with the wind. So therefore only those buildings or those houses survive which are like very strong and which have been built in such a way that they can resist or they can withstand the wind speed. So that's one thing. Whether destruction will happen or not, that also depends on the intensity of the wind, with what speed winds are blowing. So that is also another factor which decides how much destruction will happen. But here you see that just with the same concept of air pressure, we can understand that how the houses break under strong winds. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.